Isaiah. Chapter 39. At that time Merodach-baladan the son of Baladan, the king of Babylon, sent letters and a gift to Hezekiah because he had heard that he had been sick and had recovered. And Hezekiah was glad for them and showed them his treasury, the silver and the gold, and the spices and the fine oil, and his whole armory and everything which was found among his treasures. There was nothing in his house or in all his dominion that Hezekiah did not show them. Then Isaiah the prophet came to King Hezekiah and said to him, What did these men say? And from where have they come to you? And Hezekiah said, They have come to me from a distant land, from Babylon. And he said, What have they seen in your house? And Hezekiah said, They have seen everything that is in my house. There is nothing among my treasures that I have not shown them. Then Isaiah said to Hezekiah, Hear the word of Jehovah of hosts. The days are now coming when everything that is in your house and that your fathers have laid up as a treasure unto this day will be carried away to Babylon, nothing will be left, says Jehovah. And they will take away some of your sons who will issue from you, whom you will beget, and they will become eunuchs in the palace of the king of Babylon. And Hezekiah said to Isaiah, The word of Jehovah which you have spoken is good. He said moreover, Indeed there will be peace and truth in my days. Isaiah. Chapter 40. Comfort, O comfort my people, says your God. Speak unto the heart of Jerusalem, and cry out to her, that her warfare has finished, that the penalty for her iniquity has been accepted, for she has received from the hand of Jehovah double for all her sins. The voice of one who cries in the wilderness, Make clear the way of Jehovah, make straight in the desert a highway for our God. Every valley will be lifted up, and every mountain and hill will be made low, and the crooked places will become straight, and the rough places, a broad plain. Then the glory of Jehovah will be revealed, and all flesh will see it together, because the mouth of Jehovah has spoken. A voice said, Cry out. And he said, What shall I cry? All flesh is grass and all its glory is like the flower of the field. The grass withers, the flower fades, because the breath of Jehovah blows upon it. Surely the people are grass. The grass withers and the flower fades, but the word of our God will stand forever. Go up to a high mountain, O Zion, who brings glad tidings, lift up your voice with power, O Jerusalem, who brings glad tidings, lift it up, do not be afraid. Say to the cities of Judah, Behold your God. Behold, the Lord Jehovah will come as a mighty one, and his arm will rule for him. Behold, his reward is with him, and his recompense before him. He will feed his flock as a shepherd, in his arm he will gather the lambs, in his bosom he will carry them. He will lead those who are nursing the young. Who has measured the waters in the hollow of his hand, who has calculated the extent of the heavens with a handspan, and measured out the dust of the earth by a measure, and weighed the mountains in scales and the hills in balances? Who will direct the Spirit of Jehovah, or who will make matters known to him as his counselor? With whom did he consult and who instructed him, and taught him in the path of justice, and taught him knowledge, and caused him to know the way of understanding? Indeed the nations are like a drop from a bucket, and are accounted as specks of dust on the scales. Indeed he takes up the islands as very fine powder. And Lebanon is not sufficient to burn, nor are its beasts sufficient for a burnt offering. All the nations are as nothing before him, they are counted by him as less than nothing and vanity. To whom then will you liken God? Or what likeness will you compare to him? When the workman has cast an idol, a goldsmith overlays it with gold, also refining chains of silver for it. He that is so impoverished that he lacks an offering chooses wood that will not rot, and seeks a skillful craftsman for himself to prepare an idol that will not be moved. Do you not know? Have you not heard? Has it not been told to you from the beginning? Have you not understood from the foundations of the earth? It is he who sits above the circle of the earth, and its inhabitants are like grasshoppers, who stretches out the heavens like a curtain, and spreads them out like a tent to dwell in. Who brings the princes to naught, he makes the judges of the earth as nothing. They have scarcely been planted, they have scarcely been sown, their stem has scarcely taken root in the earth, nevertheless he blows on them and they are withered, and the storm wind carries them away like stubble. To whom will you liken me, that I should be compared? Says the Holy One. Lift up your eyes on high, and see who has created these things, who brings out their host by number, he calls all of them by name. Through the greatness of his might and the strength of his power not one of them is missing. Why do you say, O Jacob, and why do you speak, O Israel, my way is hidden from Jehovah, and my judgment has been passed over by my God? Do you not know, or have you not heard, that the eternal God, Jehovah, the Creator of the ends of the earth, does not faint and does not become weary? There is no searching out of his understanding. He gives power to the faint, and to those who have no vigor he multiplies strength. Although youths will faint and become weary, and young men will collapse exhausted. Yet those who wait on Jehovah will renew their strength, they will mount up with wings like eagles, they will run and will not faint, they will walk and will not become weary. Isaiah. Chapter 41. Listen to me in silence, O coastlands. Let the people renew their strength, let them approach, then let them speak, let us come together for judgment. Who has stirred up someone from the east, called him in righteousness to his feet? He gave up the nations before him, and caused him to have dominion over kings. He gave them to his sword like the dust, like the driven stubble to his bow. He pursues them and passes on in safety, he will not come on a way known to his feet. Who has wrought this and done this, calling the generations from the beginning? I, Jehovah, am the first, and with the last, I am he. The coastlands saw it and were afraid, the ends of the earth trembled, they drew near and came. Each one helps his neighbor, and each one says to his brother, be strong. So the craftsman encourages the goldsmith, and he who smooths metal with a hammer encourages him who strikes the anvil, saying that the soldering is good, and he fastens it with nails so that it should not be moved. But you, Israel, my servant, Jacob, whom I have chosen, the seed of Abraham my friend. You whom I have taken from the ends of the earth, and from its extremities have called, and said to you, you are my servant, I have chosen you and have not cast you away. Do not be afraid, for I am with you, do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you, surely I will help you, surely I will uphold you with the right hand of my righteousness. Indeed all those who are increased against you will be ashamed and confounded, the men who strive against you will be as nothing and will perish. You will seek but not find the men who contend with you, the men who war with you will be as nothing and as without existence. For I am Jehovah your God, who takes hold of your right hand, who says to you, do not be afraid, I will help you. Do not be afraid, you worm Jacob, you few men of Israel, I will help you, declares Jehovah, even your Redeemer, the Holy One of Israel. Now I will make you into a sharp threshing instrument, one that is new and possessing teeth. You shall thresh the mountains and make them powder, and you shall make the hills like chaff. You shall winnow them, and the wind will carry them away and the storm wind will scatter them. And you will rejoice in Jehovah, you will glory in the Holy One of Israel. When the poor and needy seek for water, and there is none, and their tongue is dry from thirst, Jehovah will answer them, as the God of Israel I will not forsake them. I will open up rivers on the bare heights, and in the midst of the valleys, springs. I will make the wilderness into a pool of water, and the dry land into springs of water. I will plant in the wilderness the cedar, the acacia, the myrtle, and the olive tree, I will place in the desert the fir tree, the pine tree, and the box tree together. That they may see and know, and consider and understand together, that the hand of Jehovah has done this, and the Holy One of Israel has created it. Present your case, says Jehovah, bring forward your arguments, says the King of Jacob. Let them bring forth and declare to us what will take place, let them show what the former things were, that we may consider them, and may know the end of them, or let us hear the things that are coming. Declare to us the things that are coming afterward, that we may know that you are gods, indeed do good or do evil, that we may look at one another anxiously and be afraid together. You are indeed nothing, and your work is of no consequence, he who chooses you is an abomination. I have raised up one from the north and he has come, from the rising of the sun he will call upon my name. He will come upon rulers as upon mortar, as the potter treads the clay. Who has declared it from the beginning that we may know, and in advance that we may say, he is right. Indeed there was no one who declared it, indeed no one who led us here, indeed no one who heard your words. Formerly I said to Zion, here they are, and to Jerusalem, I will give someone who preaches glad tidings. But I looked and there was no man, and from among these there was no counselor, who, when I asked, would give me an answer. Indeed all of them are vanity, their works are of no consequence, their molten images are a wind and a waste. Isaiah. Chapter 42. Here is my servant, whom I uphold, my chosen one in whom my soul delights, I have put my spirit upon him, and he will bring forth justice to the nations. He will not cry out, nor lift up his voice, nor make his voice heard in the street. A bruised reed he will not break, and a dimly burning flax he will not extinguish, he will bring forth justice in truth. He will not faint, nor will he be discouraged, until he has established justice in the earth, and the coastlands will wait for his instruction. Thus says God Jehovah, who created the heavens and stretched them out, who spread forth the earth and what springs up from it, who gives breath to the people upon it and spirit to those who walk on it. I am Jehovah, I have called you in righteousness, I have held you by the hand, I have kept you and I have given you as a covenant for the people, as a light for the nations. To open the eyes of the blind, to bring the prisoner out from the prison, those who dwell in darkness from the prison house. I am Jehovah, that is my name, and I will not give my glory to another, nor my praise to idols. Indeed, the former things have come to pass, and new things I am telling you, before they spring forth I will let you hear them. Sing a new song to Jehovah, sing his praise from the end of the earth, you who go down to the sea and all that fills it, you coastlands and their inhabitants. Let the wilderness and its cities, the villages which Kedar inhabits, lift up their voices, let the inhabitants of Selah sing for joy, let them shout from the tops of the mountains. Let them give glory to Jehovah, and declare his praise in the coastlands. Jehovah will go forth as a mighty man, like a man of war he will stir up his jealousy, he will raise a war cry, he will even roar. He will prevail over his enemies. For a long time I have been silent, I have kept still, I have restrained myself. Now I will cry like a woman in travail, I will gasp and pant at the same time. I will lay waste the mountains and hills, and all of their vegetation I will dry up, and I will make the rivers into islands, I will dry up the pools. I will bring the blind on a way they do not know, I will guide them in paths they do not know, I will make the darkness into light before them, and crooked things straight. These are the things I will do for them and will not forsake them. They who have turned back will be utterly put to shame, that is, those who trust in grave images, those who say to molten images, you are our gods. You who are deaf, hear, and you who are blind, look, that you may see. Who is blind except my servant, and as deaf as my messenger, whom I will send? Who is as blind as the one at peace with me, and as blind as the servant of Jehovah? You have seen many things and do not observe them, his ears are open, but he does not hear. Jehovah is well pleased for his righteousness' sake, he will magnify the law and make it honorable. But this is a people plundered and spoiled, all of them are trapped in holes, and they are hidden in prison houses, they have become plunder, and there is no one to deliver, they have become spoil, and there is no one to say, restore them. Who among you will give ear to this? Who will pay attention and listen to the coming things? Who gave Jacob to the plunderers, and Israel to the robbers? Was it not Jehovah, against whom we have sinned, and in whose ways they were not willing to walk, and whose law they would not obey? Therefore he poured out upon them the heat of his anger and the strength of battle, and set them on fire round about, yet they did not realize it, and he burned against them and they did not take it to heart.